Live from the... Who cares? Who freaking... It doesn't matter. Costco's getting rid of Pepsi products in the food court, going over to stupid Coke without Mountain Dew. It's stupid. Ridiculous.
Oh, this is... You've got to do a whole episode on this.
I am unhappy about this turn of events, Costco.
All right.
Anyway, do your thing, Carrie.
It's been a long year for all of us, Tony. Hit the theme.
One.
What?
That's how flustered I am.
What was that?
Tony,
Wow.
who also admitted to me when I broke the news to him yesterday that he hadn't bought anything from the Costco food court in years.
It's the principle of it, Rebecca. No. I didn't say food court. I said fountain drink. I buy stuff from the food court all the time, but I don't.
Obviously not the hot dog.
I don't drink a lot of sugary sodas anymore. I save them for
Just
special
my
occasions.
blood is just energy drinks.
Yeah, pretty much. Sugar free.
Well, I mean, I fit out the blood in my caffeine stream every day. So
See,
why not?
exactly.
Well,
Rob gets it.
It's sugar-free, so it must be good for him. It's quad T, too tall, Tony.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm just going for less bad.
And he loves his coffee, all right. Robert Neal, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi, St. Nick himself. And we're going to talk about it. She's president of the Krypto fan club, Rebecca Frost.
Dogs.
Oh, don't forget our host.
Oh, me.
And our host, Free Weasel himself,
Mr.
Kerry Jackson.
Well, that's not a verb statement. Well, I guess it is. It's.
I don't know. I don't watch the show.
We need Weasel to be freed.
Is it like Free Weasel? Is it like Save Ferris, Free Weasel?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Free Weasel. All right. Let's folks, we're going to spend some time with this Superman trailer because not
The
only
whole episode.
maybe, I don't know. We'll
It might
see.
happen. We'll see.
Now, according to James Gunn, and I tend to believe him, the Superman trailer had on its first day over 250 million views, and that was Thursday. And there were over 1 million social media posts about it. But also the most viewed and most talked about trailer in the history of both DC and Warner Brothers.
Wow.
Deservedly so.
James Gunn.
I feel like Warner Brothers is betting their whole farm on this movie.
On James Gunn.
Can you imagine the pressure?
But not just him, but there have been so many press events leading up to the trailer release itself. I don't know. I feel like WB is like, oh my God, this either has to work or we are dead.
Look at it this way. I have a friend who is a bit of a Snyder bro, and before the trailer, he was kind of like, I don't think I'm gonna even bother with the new DC stuff. But he saw the trailer and he's like, okay, I'll watch these.
Good for him.
That's true. I got what I call civilians, non-geek centric people.
Normies.
Yeah, civilians are stopping me, and saying, "Tell me about this." Yeah. But here's some comparison. Variety reports the initial trailer for Joker 2 in April had 167 million views in its first 24 hours. Inside Out 2's trailer, 157 million views across similar time frame back in November. But all three movies were beaten by Deadpool Wolverine, 365 million views.
That's not surprising.
But James Gunn doing very well with this trailer. Let's talk about it. There's so much in here. There is so much. I mean, let's begin there with this one. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see the picture. That's Superman lying in the snow.
Making angels. Oh, wait, no, he's not.
And
What's
and
that,
bleeding.
Yamcha?
Yes,
Yeah.
apparently this is a Dragon Ball Z reference. Yamcha. When Yamcha dies, he sits on the ground in a crater like this, or lays, I should say. I don't know.
But Superman is bleeding.
Yep.
He looks like he got the living hell beat out of him.
Does he
Ain't
not
got time to bleed.
Do you bleed?
I'm going to find out. Just what other stills have you got?
Well, but then the
Rebecca?
trailer cuts to this guy, and they focus on this guy a lot, and I don't know what his deal is.
Yeah, who is this guy?
Who is
So
this
just guy in
guy?
Midtown.
Some
I
guy
think
in
that's,
glasses.
some new
Doofy.
reporter for the Daily Planet.
Just doofy.
Yeah.
A glimpse
notice
inside
that
the
they
Daily Planet.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say a glimpse inside the Daily Planet, and my friend Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
There
yeah.
he is.
Okay,
And
so we
Frenchie.
got everybody in the planet, including, if I'm not mistaken, Ron Troop and Steve Lombard and Cat Grant, no Perry White, which is, I'm like, the guy should be front and center somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe they're saving him for something special because I know he was posting. The actor was posting
Yeah.
about it. So.
Did you notice too how poorly his suit fits?
So poorly.
Like,
That's a thing, though. That is actually a thing
yeah,
with Clark,
That's what I mean. Yeah.
especially if you look at
Detail.
one of the big references that Gunn used for this is All Star Superman, and one of the, if you go through the panels that let's see, Morrison and I think it was Frank Whiteley who did the artwork, all of his suits are oversized and just
Oh,
ill-fitting.
that is a poorly fitting
Yeah, it's
suit
not a
there.
good
Yeah.
cut, you know.
Yeah. Now go back to that other picture there, Rebecca, because up on the TV screen we see this blonde woman, and she's apparently a thing in the show. She works either at the Daily Planet or
Oh, I think that's a different blonde woman. I
is
don't
that di-
have
Oh, okay. I thought
That's,
it was.
that's
because of the
Tony,
bang. I know this because of the bangs.
Oh,
The
okay.
other blonde woman that we've seen, she has more of a Sabrina Carpenter hairstyle going
Thank
on.
you. Okay, I wanted to see if it was the same person, but
I don't think it's the same.
it is not. Okay, because there was that group shot of them all looking up, and I thought
yeah.
that was the same person,
I
but
don't think
it's
that's
not.
the same person.
Oh, interesting. Carrie, you make a good point there. I didn't think about the fact that they're all in the newsroom looking up, and the tagline for this has been "Look up."
Look up.
Look up.
Yes. Let's move ahead with another shot here, and we can talk about it.
Lois Lane,
Lois
who
Lane.
who would throw herself off a building to prove that Clark Kent is Superman.
It's true.
That's true.
Rachel
Or should,
Brosnahan.
try to drown herself also to prove it.
But yeah, that is Rachel Brosnahan, and she just perfect, absolutely perfect. She's got comedic chops, she's got dramatic chops, she can do it all, and I think she's probably going to be the definition of Lois Lane going forward now. I think.
There was an interview I saw where James Gunn was talking about casting both Lois and Clark, and he was like, because I wasn't just casting Lois and Clark separately, I was casting Clois, and so he had to make sure he cast actors who had really good chemistry together as well.
Makes sense.
All right, let's see. Oh, and here's Clark's
Old man
dad.
Kent.
Uncle Owen. Oh, wait. wrong series.
Slightly wrong
And-
franchise.
And this is his dad looks a lot more frail than we're used to.
Looks like Kyle.
Did you see
G.
Glenn Ford as Jonathan Kent?
Ah, but he was Glenn Ford though. He always had the shoulders, And
Oh,
yeah,
okay, fair,
Yeah, he
fair.
had a heart attack, but he was always, good looking. I mean, this is not.
You calling this guy not good looking?
This looks like my this looks like my brother.
Whatever happened to Hot Pa Kent?
Exactly.
Where's
He's no
Hot
Kevin
Pa?
Costner, that's for sure.
or Eddie George.
Or
Eddie
that's
Jones.
right.
Sorry, Eddie Jones.
That's right. But it was nice to see this bond between father and son. I thought that was
Where's Martha?
Enough. But
Martha.
instead, here comes our friend. Here comes the good boy, Krypto.
Krypto, there's so much happening in this trailer is the thing. So much emotion, so much wonderfulness in this trailer. Everybody is talking about Krypto. Everybody. He is the only currency that matters anymore.
Love him. The thing I love about Krypto, and I don't know if we've ever talked about it. Jimmy's dog, Flynn.
Yes.
Krypto looks a lot like Flynn, and
Flynn
remember
Flynn's
Jimmy-
that dirty gray, and yeah.
Jimmy telling me why they got Flynn because he looks like he could eat a tin can, and that's
Like a
this
goat?
type
Okay.
of, and
Well,
that is this
that's-
type of dog.
And that's exactly what James Gunn said about Krypto, is that he's not a good dog. He's he's got
He's
all
the
these
best
powers,
dog.
and
He's got a mind of his own.
he's got a mind of his own, and not necessarily under the category of good dog.
trying to think, what is the author's name? Elliot
James
S.
Gunn.
Magin. No, Elliot S. Magin wrote a series, I think it was, or just a bunch of shorts about Krypto. And I think they were under the title Doghouse in Space.
Oh my god.
And he, I'm happy to see Clark gets a puppy finally.
Yes.
No.
Actually, that's not true because he had one in the movie where he saved the dog, but not Kevin Costner.
But when is the super horse going to show up?
Well, that's a Supergirl. That's a Supergirl.
That's
thing.
Superwoman. That's or
Superwoman.
Supergirl Wona tomorrow.
What's
That-
the horse's name? Do you remember?
Comet.
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 Thank
And
you
it,
very
and
much.
Comet has a very disturbing history
a
depending on the
very
version you're
disturbing
looking at.
history.
It is crazy.
Um,
But hopefully we'll get Beppo the super monkey.
Oh yes, I need
I
a
just
super
like that.
monkey.
I'll be honest. I don't care about Krypto. Like
Tony,
up until
have
this
you
Why do you
seen
trailer.
him?
Why do you hate
Up-
Superdogs?
Up until this trailer.
He didn't care about it.
Okay.
This
I just hope he's
trailer-
voiced by The Rock.
in this, I can't believe what James Gunn was able to accomplish in this trailer. I now care about Krypto, and I feel like he has a purpose. And it's just like, wow, okay.
But Crypto's
thing that-
original purpose was
A dog
honestly,
purpose.
well, I mean, his original purpose he was introduced in 1955
Just to
in a
appeal to
Superboy
kiddos.
comic. And he was supposed to be a
Everyone likes-
one-shot character.
Everyone
So
likes
it's
a
just
boy and his
basically-
dog, right?
And that's it. Yeah. And then the character was so popular, like DC got so many positive reactions to him, that they basically brought him back 4 issues later and then just kept him as a recurring character. So he's been in and out of the mythology for decades.
I love his cape. But speaking of other creatures, segueing into the next part of the trailer,
Dun, dun.
Godzilla is in this trailer.
kaiju.
Yeah.
There's a kaiju.
And how fun to see Superman saving a child.
yeah.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that something?
Classic soups.
And look at the way-
Classic.
and look at the way he's got his hand over her head to protect her like a helmet,
Mm-hmm.
and standing in front of all of the stuff that's happening.
So, Rebecca, go back to your first Superman shot, the Yamcha shot, because I just noticed something. If you look very carefully at the outline around him, granted, he just fell in the snow, and I'm sure this wasn't necessarily key to that. It looks like a giant either hand or footprint around him. There's, unfortunately, like 6 digits, though, not 5.
I think you're reaching.
I'm not reaching for anything.
I do kind of think you're reaching.
Nope, not
do
reaching.
you know who else is probably a big Superman conspiracy theorist?
Rebecca
guy.
Frost.
Oh yeah,
This guy.
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
This guy
Whose
who
suit
hates
fits.
Superman with every single fiber of his being,
And his suit fits.
and
Yeah,
his suit fits.
that's, yes, and he's never been more bald.
The baldest man alive.
Yes,
Very bald.
I think when he is never. No one has ever in this world been that bald.
Well,
Look at him.
When your hair is
he-
destroyed by Superboy, of course you're going to be that bald.
He shaved his head and wore a bald cap. Like he was
Oh, he did?
dedicated to the
Okay.
bald.
Wow,
Yeah.
really? Okay. I wonder what
So
that's all about.
apparently, if you go back to the bridge, scene one,
Take it to the bridge.
take
The
it to
LexCorp bridge.
supposedly, I guess if you zoom in and enhance or something,
I'm not doing that.
no, don't worry about it. James Gunn confirmed that character is the engineer.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the engineer is in this movie. We know.
Yep.
Okay. Let's.
Do you guys want to see the coolest shot of the whole trailer? It's this part.
Now, what are we gleaning from this? He's in some sort of cage, some sort of.
Yeah, he's trapped in some kind
Is he
of
trapped?
box, but he's not trapped. He punches his way out in the
Punches his
He's no
coolest.
mime.
It is the coolest shot of the.
He's trapped in a box of his own emotions, guys.
If you guys want to see the shot that actually made me start to cry and makes me cry every single time I watch this trailer,
Oh,
it's this part.
now Robert, I'll bet has some background on this.
I honestly
Because-
don't.
Isn't this a made-up country? I thought I read that the country that we're in this scene, where the little boy with the flag, it's one of those DC Comics countries.
Which makes sense because DC's like, we don't want to either glorify or vilify any particular country.
Right.
Yeah.
So DC will make up a country or a city in
Or
a
a
heartbeat.
city.
Yeah,
Right.
this is some made-up country.
I
but
mean,
there,
technically, Carrie, every country's made up. We just all decide to agree.
All words are made
that
up.
that
And the points
name-
don't really matter.
Andrew in the chat says Barovia mentioned in
Barovia.
Action Comics
Barovia.
2. There was a
Okay.
civil war and Superman locked the two leaders in a room until they made nice.
Barovia, that's it. I knew I had read that it was a one of those DC Comics countries.
Well, I mean, they did the same thing with Black Adam and Kandak because they were like, we cannot place this in an actual Middle Eastern country. So Kandak has been their stand-in for Middle Eastern countries for and Qarak for decades at this point.
So Barovia is where this takes place, and it's so touching because
It makes me cry every single time.
he's made this flag with the Superman S,
Superman.
and he calls for Superman, and you know that Superman can hear him.
Yep.
It's got to
Here's
be
everything.
right. Yeah. Oh, there's the curl. The hair curl is the other thing that we noticed in there.
Very important.
See, this is
I love
another
the
part of his
fact-
disguise.
Yeah, I do love the fact that all these people are vilifying him because let's face it, this guy just drops out of the sky, and starts doing things. Not everybody's going to like the way what he's doing. It's not going to agree with everybody.
Right.
People don't like illegal aliens just dropping into their country.
Yeah.
Speaking of, this next picture I'm going to show you, I've seen described as a racist caricature of a white person.
No, these are people who are not familiar with the comics. Even
That
I know.
is one and only.
Yep.
Mr.
Guy
Gardner.
He either has to die by the end of this movie or get a haircut. One of the two.
Or get a haircut and then die.
Yeah, that would work as well.
So
Well-
look on this one also, look at his costume or his uniform and Hawkgirl's uniform.
Yeah.
And the one of the concepts in this is that I can't remember the company that or the industry that said did it, but the Justice League has a team uniform just in different colors to unify their look.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, and Green Lantern all have the same basic costume.
just different colors.
You know what, Andrew? I don't love Guy because he's from Baltimore. I appreciate he's from Baltimore.
This guy's
I'm a
from
Jon
Baltimore?
Stewart guy. Yes, he's from Baltimore, and then went to school and went back to coach in Michigan before
Now-
becoming a Green Lantern, and then getting hit by a bus and getting replaced by Jon Stewart.
Now, Egg says that this is a fake chin on Nathan Fillion, and I don't think so.
I think he's just
Just the
holding his
camera
mouth
angle,
weird.
yeah.
I'd give it the weird mouth hold. Yeah,
yeah, weird mouth.
it's a
hole.
great. That's his
no,
normal hair.
Cannot distract from his terrible haircut. But also, James Gunn said, "You want comic accurate Guy Gardner? I'll give
There you
you
go.
comic
he
accurate
did.
Guy Gardner."
Yep.
This is straight out of especially Justice League, the funny series by Keith Giffen and
Is that,
J.M. DeMatteis.
International Justice League International.
That became international. Yeah.
I'm personally so excited about Hot Girl because I
Yeah.
love Hot Girl so much. Played by Isabella Marquez, by the way.
And that's
You-
that's a great representation right there too.
Yep.
Oh,
real
I
good.
love her. I love her so much. This next one I'm gonna show you guys. I have a theory.
Okay.
So here we have Superman fighting this kaiju.
Giant
Do
axolotl.
you think that's Jimmy Olsen after having taken a mysterious
Oh.
elixir?
I love
That
that.
would be something.
I love that.
Look at his eyeballs. That's a people eye.
It's blue eyes.
And
yeah.
Skylar Gazanto has blue eyes.
Maybe.
Hmm.
Maybe.
I'm just saying, how fun would it be if that was Jimmy Olsen?
That is a total lean in, and I love it.
It is a lean in. You are obsessed with details.
Well, I don't understand why you guys aren't.
I'm now joining that fan club right there.
All right.
This next one we've seen before, kind of.
In
The
the
first
poster,
still
yeah.
that they released was him putting on his boots, and here he is
Yeah.
with Lois Lane. What's going on back here, everybody?
Other eye or Brainiac, I guess.
Could be Brainiac, yeah.
I'm leaning toward Brainiac.
But they don't seem stressed out.
The other Justice League characters got it in hand, I'm sure.
Well, this is the. I'm the only one who can stop this.
Yeah.
But don't go.
But I have
That's the scene right
Well,
there.
so- okay, but also, here's the thing. So, ooh, kissy, kissy, kissy. Who is this? The man of feels. So he,
got him.
she's wearing the outfit from The Office
From The
earlier.
Office, yeah.
Oh,
So this does
So-
begin in media res, though. So when he's been
Yeah.
Superman for a while at this point.
well,
And
that's what Gunn
they-
says. Is we start the movie
Yeah.
in the middle of the action.
And they already know each other. They already
yeah.
kissing each other.
There's no reason to tell that story again. Everybody knows it. We're going to go with what everybody knows. Boom. What else you got there?
Another thing I love about Superman, he cares about all life. Doesn't matter,
Even
No.
when
man
it's
or
alive.
robot.
Now these are characters from the comic, the robots. And don't they guard the Fortress of Solitude or something like that?
There are
I think
robots
so.
that do. I can't
think-
tell if this is one of them or not.
I think it is.
Well, especially from like reading
because it looks
that
like they're
All-Star
in,
Superman.
yeah, and it looks
Yeah.
like they're in the Fortress of Solitude as
Yeah.
well. So I think this is that. Yeah.
And this is sometime you can see the shading on his S on his chest. It's the same shading from when the people were yelling at him on the street.
Yeah.
So this
Hasn't
takes
had time
place
to
at the
hit-
same time. Yeah.
Hasn't had time to hit the dry cleaner, or maybe that was his dry cleaner. And
It's he's having a bad day. You can tell he's just having a bad day.
Bad day,
Whatever day this is. Some other characters.
Okay.
Metamorpho.
Metamorpho. Right?
Metamorpho.
No, wait. Rebecca, blue eyes.
Oh.
No, this is NoHo Hank.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though.
But
This
it could
character has
be.
blue eyes, and doesn't Metamorpho change his shape, right?
Oh.
I don't think
Not
he
really.
gets big.
No, Robert?
He can. And
But that's not as fun.
Shape.
That's not as fun as Jimmy Olsen drinking a mysterious elixir.
I don't know. This sounds about as plausible as Rob's handprint in the snow.
What? What are Metamorpho's characteristics? All I know is that when I saw him on the Super Friends cartoon, he could change shape. That's all I know.
He can change shape, but it's typically he changes into different elements.
Yep.
So like just gaseous form of various elements.
Okay, all right. So it's
Okay, but you know
unlikely he
who else has blue eyes? The angriest man alive.
would- the baldest
You know
man
who else
alive.
has
The
Yeah.
baldest,
Gaseous
angriest man alive.
Yeah, look how mad he is. One single tear. He's so mad.
I was the beast, damn it.
Yeah.
But also, so I have heard, or I haven't heard. I read an idea that this guy is Ultraman, and that's why they have Metamorpho to try to like eke out the stuff to make Ultraman. Can someone who knows more about this speak more
turned
to this?
I turned to Rob and Tony for DC.
I thought this was Mr. Terrific and Superman having a disagreement.
It looks.
Oh no! This is Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, and the back of his jacket looks like that.
No, because the back of his jacket says fair play.
That's right.
That's right. I forgot about the fair play.
I was going to say
across
it's
the
on his
back.
sleeve too. Yeah.
Yep. So I have no idea who that is then.
Interesting. Do you see the Mr. Terrific mask, the T on his face?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that in some other iteration of Mr. Terrific. I want to say it's from a CW show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They did
Arrow.
the same thing.
Arrow.
Arrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually it's a painted on, so they went with a mask this time, which is interesting. It's a lot easier to take on and put off. That's
They
for
did.
sure.
They did the mask in the CW show.
Oh, they did a mask on that one too.
That's where I saw it the first time. And there he is exhibiting some powers. He's a tech genius, right?
No.
Those
No, he's a
are,
tech genius, but it's
yeah.
not powers. It is
Those are
It's like
T-spheres.
little drones.
these spheres.
T-spheres.
Little spheres.
Oh yeah, his spheres. I remember that from the CW show too. He throws those around and
Like
they,
little mini computers that do everything.
What do they always say? He's the second smartest person alive, or something like
Third.
Okay, third smart.
Who's
And
the
then
first
they-
two?
They don't. Well, that's a funny thing because the person who started the rumor about him being the third smartest person is him.
Yeah, he doesn't
You don't want to be a
people to-
target. Yeah.
Exactly. So he
now-
very well might be the smartest person.
Now Eric says that there are leaked photos of Ultraman somewhere on the web.
I seen them.
okay.
I seen them.
Okay.
All right, and that's a Superman from a different universe.
Earth 3, the part of the crime syndicate, as
I-
opposed to the Justice League.
And I know that from the cartoon. Thank you, Rob.
Yep.
All right.
And then we have. Isn't this nice?
Oh,
Flying
In
and
New
kissing.
Orleans, what?
Flying and kissing.
is
And
that
then
in New Orleans?
I'm just saying, just on the structure of the
It says
band,
similar-
the railings.
Yeah, it's that similar kind of architecture. I don't. Oh,
And then Rob, I think you might be right. Don't go.
don't go.
For
Don't
sure.
go.
Let Green Lantern take care of this.
Yeah, look, there's already green energy out there. We're good.
Let
Yeah.
him
Guys
fix
got
it.
Let Guy handle this.
Yeah.
And
Green
then-
Lantern
Guy
take
can
care of
handle it.
everything. Yeah.
Said no one ever in the DC.
And then the best still of the whole trailer.
Ah, yes.
He's Krypto carrying Superman home.
Bouncing along the ground as he gets dragged.
It's not like it's going to
Look at
hurt
his
him.
collar. Like he's got a super tag.
Oh, he's set. Yeah, that's your number
But that's
one
pretty
toy
standard.
for-
I mean, he has in most of the things, he does have a little S symbol tag.
Oh my god.
That's going to be the biggest selling toy. I'm telling you right now. Baby Yoda, look out, because there you go.
Here comes Krypto.
I will. Okay, now we've gone through all the pictures. Let's talk about the feels.
All the feels.
I'm such
So
a crybaby, you guys. I cry. I've watched this like, I don't know, 20 times, and I cry every single time.
Yeah.
It brings back what I've been waiting for in a Superman thing outside of the CW is hope. And
Yes.
somebody who embodies hope and like, I'm here to help. And somebody I read earlier today made a point that Tyler Hoechlin, who played Clark Kent in Superman on Superman and Lois, all of this press is now just kind of overshadowing what he's done. And honestly, he was a fantastic Clark Kent and Superman.
We just finished season 3.
He did such a good job of humanizing Clark.
Yes.
And making Superman accessible. And it's I'm glad that he was there. I'm sorry to see him getting kind of overshadowed,
Yeah.
but it's also just
Oh, there's
fun
Ultraman.
to see a hopeful, what Superman should be, not just flying Batman like we've had for the past 7
Flying
8 years.
Batman. Yeah.
Well, and have you seen the interviews with David Cornsweet where he's the one who was like, no, I think Superman should have the underoos, because he dresses in such a way. He dresses almost as like a Mexican wrestler, to as not like scare kids. He wants to be a symbol of something you shouldn't be afraid of, and this elicits like a childlike, sense of, oh, I shouldn't be afraid of this guy. He wears his underwear outside.
Well, it's not just that, but Rebecca makes a point about he doesn't want to scare the kids. When they were doing the color test for the costume, when they had this one come up, Gunn was kind of like, I'm not sure, maybe it should be darker, and David Cornsweet was like, no, it should be bright because he doesn't want to scare the kids. And something bright is going to be far less menacing, far more attractive than dark muted colors.
Like how firefighters go to schools and interact with kids, right? Like because you want the firefighters, like their uniforms are big, hairy, big, heavy, scary. And if you go to the schools and show the kids like, hey, if there is a fire, you are who you should come to us. Like we are the helpers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was also another interview I saw with Nicholas Hoult, and he was talking about the first day he saw David Cornsweet in this costume. And he was flying like into set, and Nicholas Hoult described this like childlike feeling of happiness. And he was watching them film the scene, and he described it as a private grin on his face because he was just so thrilled, and this instilled such a sense of happiness in him. And he turned to look at everybody else that was there filming, and they all had the same type of grin. Like, I don't know. I think they're cooking. I think they're cooking with gas here.
Hopefully so.
Everyone was saying, God, do we need this? Like you said before the trailer came out, do we need this? And then everyone who saw it said, yeah. And I guarantee you, by the time this movie opens, we're desperately going to need this.
Well, not
I think
everybody, 'cause
James
there's
Gunn
still
has the weight of the world on his shoulders.
there's still the camp that's like, this isn't Superman. Superman's supposed to be, why have they wussed up Superman? It's like, no,
They haven't.
this is Superman.
Exactly.
I mean,
The people who are
most of us
saying
here
that
get that. Yeah.
The people who are saying that have never read any comics.
And of course, seeing those arguments pop up again about how Superman is inherently conservative. Like, no, he's not. He was created by two Jewish men. He is an illegal alien new to our planet trying to...
And let's be honest, one of his earliest adventures when it was a radio show, was Superman versus the Klan. And if you look up the history of that story, the people who produced that radio show actually helped break up some Klan groups. They were using their secret codes on the radio program in the script. They were, this is how you find the Klan in your area. It was wonderful, and that was the radio show. That was in the 40s.
And just really quick note on that: the DC had Gene Leune do a graphic novel based on Superman. Superman takes on the Klan, I think is what they call it. And it was really great if you are a remote Superman fan. Hell, if you're just a comics fan, run to your local comic shop and pick that up. It's a quick read, but it's so well done. And one of the nice things about the fact that they had Leune do it was that he did it from a Chinese immigrant family's perspective in Metropolis.
Extremely cool.
Yes. Well, who doesn't like Superman? I mean, besides Lex Luthor. Well, Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh no, my awkward crush.
Your awkward crush, Jesse Eisenberg. He was on a podcast recently, and he talked about how poorly received Batman v Superman was. And he said, I was in this Batman movie, and the Batman movie was so poorly received, and I was so poorly received. I've never seen this before. It's kind of embarrassing to admit, but I genuinely think it actually hurt my career in a real way.
Oof.
Okay.
I liked his Lex Luthor. I liked his Lex Luthor.
So
I need somebody to mark their calendar, because not only is it 2112 Day, but I'm going to defend something from this movie.
Here we go.
Is it Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, boo. Woo,
Okay.
Woo, woo, woo. Eisenberg
So-
Hive.
So, Lex Luthor in this movie proves himself to be one of the smartest men in the world. Top three. We'll give him top three.
Yeah, sure.
Because, I mean, Mr. Terrific's in there somewhere.
Mr. Terrific, yeah.
But one of the things about his Luthor was, and I'm not sure if this was direction from Snyder or if it's something that he collaborated with Eisenberg on doing, was showing that Lex is effectively hyper intelligent. His brain moves at a speed that his mouth cannot match. If you watch the way that he interacts with people, and he's always moving, he's always talking, you could say that he's possibly on the high end of the spectrum. But he is constantly in motion, like he's trying to keep his mouth up with what his brain is coming up with, and nobody is keeping up with him.
Yep.
And Jimmy Johns beat me to my comment. He embodied the tech bro.
Yes. Yes. And, I argue that, how did Lex become a xenobiologist in 20 minutes from finding Zod's body, turning him into Doomsday? But I mean, he is one of the smartest men in the DC universe. So Eisenberg's Luthor, definitely not my Luthor.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the Batman and the Superman that we got, he was the right guy. And also, I mean, they show how smart he is because he did two things that no one else in the DCU has done in the same way, in figuring out who Superman is, which they took directly from John Byrne's run of Superman in the 80s.
Okay.
Because in Superman #2, Luthor figured out, or had a computer and some analysts figure out, Clark Kent was Superman. And then he discarded that theory, like, why would a man with this much power pretend to be so weak?
He couldn't relate.
He couldn't relate, so he just threw it away. But I will give him being able to figure that out. Also, the fact that anytime Lois is in trouble, this alien shows up, and then her boyfriend looks suspiciously like that guy. He showed up in town at about the same time. They're about the same height.
I've heard
Same build.
from more than one person looking at pictures of David Cornsweet Clark Kent and David Cornsweet Superman and saying, I definitely wouldn't be able to tell these guys apart.
They definitely look a lot more different than Catville's Clark Kent and Superman.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
For sure.
Cavill's Clark Kent was always still a little. He could have
Little
used
too
some
buff.
He could have
that's
used
the
some
thing.
ill-fitting clothing.
Exactly.
So, but you know who else pulled that off besides Christopher Reeve, who did a great job of it?
Good job.
Brandon Routh did. And
Brandon Routh
doesn't
did a
get
phenomenal job.
credit for the way that his Clark Kent made painstaking efforts to to not look like Superman, because they did show a scene where he comes back to Metropolis. He's in the newsroom, and they start talking about Superman being back, and he's like, "Oh, isn't Clark 6'2" and about 215?" And you see him hear this and kind of go, "Nope, not me."
Couldn't be me.
A lot of people we overlook that Brandon Routh Superman movie.
I love him. I love that movie.
He was good. I'll say it. Kevin Spacey was good as Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Hate to say it. Hate to say it.
He's
Art
a
versus
phenomenal actor. Yeah, but also the sequence where he stops the plane was so comic book.
Superman.
Yes.
It was perfect.
Do you know how often I say, "Wow, that's really something, Lex"? Nearly every day.
I just watching this. I know one of our fallen friends would have just been freaking out watching.
Oh
this.
yeah.
Let's see. Let's do a little housekeeping here just briefly, and then we'll get to the rest of the news quickly. We'll jump through it.
We did.
Yeah,
it.
we spent so much
20
time
plus
talking about
minutes.
Superman.
I'm sorry. This was too important to not to do this.
The
this
dog.
week.
I mean, come on. The dog.
Everyone is talking about this trailer. So anyway, just quickly, geekshowgotthiscovered.com is the link to our Patreon. I'm going to do my best. I know I say this every week. I'm going to do my best to make some videos this week, but I'm not working until the 6th, so I'll have time to do some. I want to do a bit on physical media on a video.
Ooh.
And geekshow.store. Take some Christmas money and buy our product, The shirts are. I like my own merch. I know
This is the third week in a row you've talked about that shirt. You must really like it.
I do. I like my merch. It's
Puts it on his
Lee,
pillow when he sleeps at night.
and Lee did such a great job with the logo, and anyway. Lee is on assignment this week, by the way, just so you know. Let's get into the next bit of news. It's the news everyone was waiting for.
Nobody saw coming. Holy moly!
Jared
His agent
Leto.
did.
Jared Leto
True.
is now. Here's the list of the villains for the Masters of the Universe movie, the He-Man movie. Here's the list of villains. So Jared Leto as Skeletor, Sam C. Wilson as Trapjaw, Hafthor Bjornsson
Hafthor Bjornsson.
Not
As-
a quarter Thor.
as a character I'm not familiar with He-Man, Goatman.
Former world's strongest man, Hafthor Bjornsson, also played the Mountain.
The
that
Mountain.
rides in Game of Thrones.
All right. And Kojo Ata as Triclops. But we've also got Alison Brie as Evil Lynn as well. So
Hold on a second.
This is too many villains.
You said Goat Man, and I'm wondering if they mislabeled that. There's a Ram Man.
I wonder if it's Ram Man
Oh, he might be Ram Man, yeah.
because this is from the Hollywood Reporter.
Well, no,
and
isn't Ram Man a good guy?
Oh, that's true. Yes.
Ram Man's
Yeah.
a
Rams
good
and
guy.
goats are not the same.
because sheep go to heaven, goats go to hell.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Tastes the same.
So there you go, Jared Leto. Good luck with that.
Although I can hear him saying, "Hey man."
Listen, he likes to go method. I want to see him go method. Peel the skin off your face.
I was going to say, Andrew in the chat, he's so method, he's already removing his skin.
Oh,
Do it,
did I miss
baby.
that joke already? Dang it.
Do it, baby.
See it.
All right.
Ugh.
Now I got-
What sucks is he's perfect for this.
That's
I
the
know,
thing.
right?
Yeah,
That's the thing.
that's a good choice. What
I'm
are you
l-
going to do?
Go to the Frank Langella.
Frank Langella was good as Skeletor, I have to say. All right, let's see. Now let's talk about Disney a little bit. I read this article about the Acolyte, which I don't care. I have good friends who just hated this, and I'm like, I thought it was really cool.
Why is it every time I
I
get a
don't know.
fun, new, inventive Star Wars,
I know,
all of those nearest and dearest to me hate it?
I
You
know,
have
right?
bad taste, like me in music.
Tony!
Here's the thing:
Wow.
this show was a hit.
Just kidding. I liked
This
it. I
show
liked
did
it.
well. It streamed. The streaming numbers were good on this show, but Alan Bergman from Disney said, as it relates to the Acolyte, we were happy with our performance, but it wasn't where we needed it to be given the cost structure of that title.
Oh, so it was also very expensive.
They're saying that it was money was the reason that they didn't do the Acolyte. It wasn't.
I'm sure.
anything-
I'm sure.
Here's what I bet. they were already on the verge of canceling it, and then enough people cried on the internet about their stupid problems, and that pushed them over the edge.
But here's the thing: is that in the grand tradition of Disney and ABC obeying in advance, this
So disgusting.
this is a show for Disney Plus that's coming called Win or Lose.
It's Pixar's first TV series.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it's about kids on a baseball team, Little League Baseball. And
Is it Disney's Bad News Bears?
I guess. They've already. It's called Win or Lose. Apparently, the company is going with lose.
Get him, Carrie.
The show is set to feature It was set to feature a potential transgender character, and it has now been removing the references. Here's their statement. So, on one hand, they say, "Oh, it was too expensive for that Star Wars." But it says, when it comes to animated content for younger children, we realize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects with their children on their own terms and timeline.
or not.
Not the first time they've done
Or
this, though,
not.
because they did with Moon Girl and Devil
I
Dinosaur.
was going to bring that up. We never addressed that because I couldn't find any real, it was just someone's Instagram posts that were based.
I did have a friend who worked on Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and she was very upset with the removal of that. Also, for Win or Lose, they did leak a storyboard animation of a scene that included that character experiencing gender dysmorphia. And I have seen other trans people respond to it saying, this is one of the most accurate representations of how I feel that I've ever seen. And it's really disappointing that Disney is opting to remove this from the show.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think that's just damned unfortunate that they're doing that. And it disappoints me because I like my Disney and my Pixar and all that stuff.
I like my woke TV shows.
I do too. But anyway.
There's also a really good argument I saw again on TikTok about how conservative people don't make good art and how all good art we see is progressive and left leaning, because good art asks a question and makes you think about things, whereas conservative art tells you one truth, and
White
that is
Jesus.
what white Jesus,
White
and you are,
Jesus.
and that is the story. There is no
Sorry,
open-ended question. There is
that's
no
okay.
open-ended investigation into
Yeah.
what the meaning of something is.
because that's crazy. Because I was, and no lie, I was actually thinking about this last month, looking at some artwork, and I'm just like, and knowing who the artist was from what I was watching, I was like, you hardly ever see good artwork from people that are really conservative.
Or-
That isn't to say it doesn't happen,
Or,
sure.
how about-
I'm sure it does, but the artists are a lot of the time what most people, a lot of mainstream people consider the weirdos,
Yes.
and that's where a lot of the really good art comes from, is the weirdos.
I'll take it a step further.
Quote.
Not just art, comedy.
Yeah, sure.
Show me some good
Because
conservative
good comedy punches up. Conservative comedy
Yeah.
punches down.
Exactly.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Grumble, grumble.
So that upset me. Anyway, now the trailer from last week, that 28 years later trailer. Oh wow, it got some huge views as well, and it's still, I think, as much as I like the Superman trailer, I still think that the 28 years later trailer is the most effective, best trailer of the year, because it was so popular, and we all watched it so many times. I'm trying to find the number of views here. It was huge, but
Okay, and I have a question for you based on your statement.
yes.
What makes it the most effective trailer? And I'm not trying to counter what you're saying. I'm just trying to understand.
The
Where you
use of
going?
the poem.
The use of the poem.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the concept of the movie is to bring tension to you, to make you uncomfortable, to make you feel scared, nervous.
Sidebar. The point of the Superman trailer is to make you feel hopeful. Please
That's
continue.
true. Okay. No, you're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Sorry, this is not point counterpoint. I'm sorry.
146 million global views.
Yeah, it did that well. Let's see. So Sony, which has this movie coming out in 2025, seizing on the zeitgeist, bringing back 28 Days Later.
Good.
the first in a series that also
Because it
includes-
wasn't available at all
It wasn't.
anywhere. It's
Yeah.
out of print. It's not streaming anywhere.
So they've decided to make it available to you. They realized, oh, we may have something here. I swear to God, some of these suits and their decision making, it just baffles me sometimes. The release will be available for purchase and rental as of now, it says.
How much are they charging for this rental? That's what I
Yeah,
want.
look it up, Tony.
I'm gonna look it up.
If you want a double feature, you can watch 28 Weeks Later on Disney Plus, Prime Video. So,
Egg is right. 28 days later does look awful because it looks like it was filmed on a potato.
Potatoes have
But you get
terrible
Doctor Who
lenses.
in 28 days later.
Sure, but it
And
was also
Scarecrow
like
in the
it was
same
like my
movie.
friends and I made it in my backyard. Like that's the quality of it.
Well, it was
Okay,
one of
it's only-
those very small films, yeah.
It's only $4 to rent, so
you
that's
go.
not
How
bad.
much
when
to
I
buy?
when I
17.
watched Sunshine earlier this year, I watched it on DVD, and there was a preview on the DVD for 28 Days Later, and on my 4K TV, I was like, ah,
You noticed all the problems.
it's hideous.
Yep. Like, oh, so
Andrew
much
s-
macro blocking.
Andrew says it was actually a Game Boy camera is what they showed it
Oh
on.
my god.
Game Boy Color camera.
So anyway, that's available now. You can catch up, I suppose. And then finally, this. I was a chump. I watched the last episode of What We Do in the Shadows on cable.
Oh,
You still
geez.
have cable?
Yes, I do. And so I got to see some of the special endings, but there are some that I did not see because they're only available on Hulu.
There I'm almost to this episode, so
There
I'm
are
excited.
different episodes, different endings for the episode on Hulu.
Okay.
And what you do is you have to go to navigate the extra hypnosis features next to the episodes tab on the Hulu menu for the show. Nadia pops up and introduces the segments. And
Okay, so what you're saying
I'm not
is
going
they
to
did-
tell you what they are.
So what you're
Excellent.
telling me is they did What We Clue in Shadows.
Hey,
Yeah.
exactly. On the
Hey.
clue.
What we clue in the shadows. Oh, I like that. Let me write that down. So yeah, go to the episodes menu and it'll say the special hypnotic features, and then you can see all three. All right, what did we consume this week? I know Rebecca saw a lot of movies.
I watched so many movies.
You say that every week.
I know,
she-
but
well, she's-
well, guess what, everybody? Today, Utah Film Critics Association announced our list of nominations for our awards this year. I don't have the list in front of me.
Thanks for bringing it up.
You're
Does
welcome.
exist.
But leading the charge in nominations is a movie called The Brutalist, and
Really?
these are all movies that are either coming out over Christmas or you can watch them now. So The Brutalist, Adrian Brody stars. Guy Pearce is there. Felicity Jones, Joe Alwyn. Adrian Brody plays a Hungarian Jewish architect who is given a life-changing opportunity when he immigrates to America. Guy Pearce is there in one of his finest performances, I think, and Felicity Jones is also there. And this movie is big and bold and ambitious. It does have a very long runtime. It is 3 hours and 35 minutes long.
Whoa.
15 minutes of that are an intermission.
Okay.
There was something that I saw this morning from the director who was complaining about why is it that people can go to a superhero movie that's 3 hours long with no problem, but when you have a dramatic comedy that actually reflects real world emotion and values, et cetera, that they're limited to like 90 minutes, and anything outside that is just kind of crapped on.
I'll tell
Well, and
you
that's the
why.
thing about The Brutalist in particular. This does very long runtime. It never once drags. It is
Okay, well.
extremely engaging the entire time.
And that's what I was going to say. When you go into a superhero movie, a big blockbuster, you expect to be entertained. Your lizard brain is going to be happy the
Exactly.
whole time. And so
Exactly.
nobody cares. Oh, 3 hours of explosions? Yes, I'm in. Oh, 3 hours of people talking to each other, cracking an occasional joke?
Yeah, no, The Brutalist, it like I said, it is long. It never drags. It is extremely engaging the entire time. Even the intermission, it's just a 15-minute countdown clock, but I could sit and look at it. It was cool. Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Was it an analog?
Yeah.
Carrie, you roasted me, so I went ahead and I pulled up the list. I'm sorry I wasn't as prepared as.
Here's the countdown clock.
24.
So for Best Picture, normally we only have 5 nominees. We have 6 nominees because we had a tie in there somewhere. So we've got, for Best Picture, The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, The Substance, Tuesday, and The Wild Robot.
Dune.
Okay.
Dune.
All of those are phenomenal movies. A movie that comes out, 2 movies that come out on Christmas. Baby Girl, the Nicole Kidman horny movie. She plays a high-powered CEO that begins a steamy affair with an intern. I saw this movie the day the CEO got shot. So I was like, ooh, bad day to be high-powered CEO. It is another entry in this year's category of women being charged with the crime of aging while still having incredibly rockin' bodies. It is extremely sexy. I cannot understate how sexy this movie is, and written and directed by a woman. So it is very nice to see female sexuality brought on screen in such a nuanced way. Some
But
people
are there boobies?
No, actually.
Well-
Nicole Kidman's very stingy with her boobies.
You expect it to be sexy, and there's no boobies.
Or wait, do we see her boobies? I'm trying to remember. Maybe we do. We might. Whatever. Okay. The movie I wish Lee was here to talk about. Nosferatu. Tale of a haunted young woman and the
Yes.
vampire who is obsessed with her. Not Twilight.
Wait.
It is morbid. It is creepy. It is otherworldly. Bill Skarsgård is giving the performance of a lifetime, which is kind of a bummer because
Because he plays a dead person?
it's in a movie where Robert Eggers is playing it safe, I think. If I were to introduce someone to Robert Eggers as a director, it would not be this movie. I'm very happy for him that he got to make this movie. This has been a dream project of his to remake Nosferatu, and it's very good. Lily Rose Depp, she's fine. I did say, oh, is Anya Taylor-Joy busy or something? She was.
Boom,
She was
roasted.
busy filming. She was busy filming Furiosa.
Oh, I bet she regrets that now.
I mean, Furiosa
I liked
was,
I
Furiosa.
really
Yeah.
like Furiosa.
I did, but
But like I said, Bill Skarsgård, he gives a totally nightmarish performance, complimentary, and wrecked his vocal cords for the part. But yeah, it's fine. I liked it well enough, but I have seen Robert Eggers do better.
you are the first reviewer I've heard say that this is just okay. Everyone
Yeah,
else is
I'm not
falling
drinking
over
the
themselves.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on this one. Like it was
But-
fine.
Are there boobies?
Yes, there's boobies. 2 movies that, also A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan biopic, Timothée Chalamet, written and directed by James Mangold, who also did Walk the Line. So I was expecting another entry into the Walk the Line-averse. It's really difficult to not compare this to Walk the Line, especially because like they do cross over. Like Johnny Cash shows up in this Bob Dylan biopic, right?
Really?
Yeah,
Was it
as
Joaquin
you
Phoenix?
no, wouldn't that be nice? It's Boyd something. He does a fantastic job. He's a little too skinny, I think. But whatever. That doesn't matter. So I was expecting this to be equally weighted in terms of like how good I think Walk the Line is. Like Walk the Line I would consider one of my most favorite movies of all time. But overall it felt very much like a scrapbook of a movie. Like it really picks and chooses elements of Bob Dylan's life to highlight, and it ultimately just kind of feels more like a clip show of a movie to me. Timothée Chalamet does a great job, whatever. Boyd Holbrook, thank you, Andrew, in the chat for telling me. 2 other movies I'll talk about so fast. Carry On
Wait.
on
You know
Netflix.
what I'm going to ask?
What do you?
about
Were
it?
there boobies?
No. What was the stars? How many stars did you give it?
Oh gosh. But The Complete Unknown, I think I gave it 3.5. The Brutalist, I believe I gave 4 stars. Baby Girl, 4 stars. Nosferatu, 3.5 stars. Streaming, Carry On, Taron Egerton, Justin Bateman, TSA propaganda movie, It is. It is
Not good though. It looks interesting from the trailer.
So here's the thing. I like these kind of movies. I like dumb action movies that are clearly propaganda. And that's exactly what Carry On was. Carry On was, you better be nice to the TSA or else. Look how fun it is to work at the TSA. What was that?
That's just not a standard rule, so they don't just single you out of line for, oh, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Taron Egerton went to the Tom Cruise school of running. He does a very good job of running very fast in this
There you
movie.
go.
Jason
straight
Bateman
to, like Carrie was
is the bad guy, doing a bad guy thing, wearing a black hat, and whatever. This is clearly TSA propaganda, but it's just kind of a fun action movie. I had a blast watching it and riffing on it. A movie I did not have a blast watching and riffing on, Red One, which is on Amazon Prime now. The Jacked Santa movie with The Rock and Chris Evans.
See, here's the thing. All the critics that I know hated this movie. And the people, though, the civilians, are digging it.
They're
like Tony, I guess.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun.
This movie sucked,
Get
Tony.
out of town.
This movie,
Krampus was great.
I got 20 minutes in, and I was like, I am not nearly high enough for this, and I had to go imbibe some more. And even then, do you know how many times The Rock did something, and I said, enough. That's enough.
You don't like fun things.
Carrie?
I love fun things.
Carrie,
I enjoy Carry On.
Okay.
I need to pitch a new show here.
All right.
Frost and Nichols at the movies, because I think we need to have them.
I thought that was on my highlights of my freaking what I watched this week. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Oh. It's
again.
Chris Evans is a rude dude. The Rock is a mad lad. Get them together. Also, watch this movie with the context of knowing that The Rock showed up late every day.
Who cares?
Every day he showed up late, and he was
wanted.
peeing in bottles like he's goddamn the Aviator,
He's
whoever
been doing
that
for
guy's
years.
name was.
He's been doing that for years. You're talking about Howard Hughes.
Yeah, that's the guy. He
peeing
was
in the
pissing
bottles.
in bottles
He does that
and
at the
showing
gym,
up late
so
to
he doesn't
set.
have to go all the way to the bathroom and break up his set. Come on, don't you
Well,
know how
maybe
to
if
get
he
a
wasn't
pump?
late in the first place.
Maybe he was late because he was peeing in not bottles.
Also,
It
I
takes
really
time.
like that Chris Evans has decided he did Knives Out and then was like, I'm just never gonna do a good movie ever again.
Deadpool, Wolverine.
Disagree.
The
I gave
poor
it
man,
4
the
out of
poor
5
man.
stars.
Chris Evans tries to be a rude dude, and he's a rude dude in every other movie he's in except the Captain America roles. Okay, and I think he's like, well, maybe I like the money that comes from being Captain America, and he's just gonna, like Robert Downey
Cash it
Jr.,
in.
just
Cash it
go
out.
right back to
I
Marvel
would-
House.
I'm not going to complain. I want more Captain America, but anyway.
I vote watch Red One. It's
I
fun. And
the worst.
they do some cool.
The Rock is
fake-
one day away from elf retirement. Like, this movie is so full
That part was so
of
cliche.
tropes and cliches.
That's
and-
why it's good.
I
was one day from retirement.
The fact that The Rock was the IMAX theater where Chris Nolan views his movies, and sitting in the seat where Chris Nolan views his movies, and was like, the Red One would look great up here. Fuck all the way off, dude. This is some of the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life.
Nah.
I got some 70s Doctor Who and Tomorrow people to show you.
Right?
Just for bad CGI and special effects.
That's all.
That's it.
Tony, I
Okay.
want you to go next just so you can have your counterpoint.
So let me tell you about Red One. All right.
Yeah, please defend Red One.
They're building a Red One universe. It's gonna be all
That's
kinds
the
of
other thing about this
mythological
goddamn
creature
movie.
Stories that are gonna come to your screen just like Avengers, Agents of Shield, etc.
I'm getting a team together. We got the Easter Bunny. We got the Headless Horseman. We got
son
the
of a bitch,
Christmas
I'm in.
Witch. What? We got Uncle Sam for the 4th of July.
That's right. We'll get them all in there, and it's going to be, it's about family, one last ride. Okay, that's what it is. They actually say that in the movie, one last ride, and
they do. It is
I had a lot of fun with it. I give it
warp
4.5.
speed. Santa travels via warp speed. Did you know this?
That's right. Yeah.
good.
Magic warp speed.
Well, he'd have to,
They do a lot of fun, like.
And there's portals to other, so toy stores.
Don't give away
all
all
around
the
the
spoilers.
I do
You're
not
giving
give
away
a shit.
the
Toy stores all around the world have portals to other toy
Stop
stores,
what you're doing.
and that's how they get all their toys. And then so the Rock steps through one,
That's
and then
not right at all.
Chris Evans steps through one, and Chris Evans is like, "Oh my God, what just happened?" And the Rock is like, toy stores all have portals to other toy stores. What do you mean you don't know that?"
Duh.
Now
I knew that.
Now you've just created conflict in our chat room. People are going back and
Hey,
forth.
I'm so sorry that I'm shitting all over this movie,
People liked
but
it, they didn't
I
like
have
it,
to
yeah.
live my truth.
That's it. 4 candy canes out of 5. Great Christmas movie. All right, moving
else, Tony?
along. We watched the entire season of Shrinking last week in like 3 days.
Oh,
'cause I
wow.
just
Whoa,
couldn't
are you
stop watching
okay?
it. Yeah, it was so good.
It's that good, yeah.
It's an excellent show. Highly recommend. It's got that Brett Goldstein stank all over it, and it was really good. Almost finished with What We Do in the Shadows, like I mentioned previously. I think I only have 2 episodes left. We finished season 3 of Superman and Lois. Underrated show, if you ask me. I think it's a lot of fun. And now I got to figure out how to watch the 4th season because it's not on Max yet. Hopefully they dump it soon because it's finished,
check the CW app on your smart TV.
CW app. It's poopy. But
Yeah,
I will.
I know, but still.
I'll do it. I'll do it because I want to watch it. And then last but not least, 2 things. We tried that Lucky 13 TV show out. Have you seen this? It's Gina Rodriguez and Shaq hosting a trivia show.
Yes.
It's actually pretty good.
What is this?
It's on ABC.
Yeah.
And it's a trivia show where you get to guess how many out of the 13 questions you'll get right.
Yeah, it's 13 true false questions. And then to actually win, it's not about getting all the questions right. It's about guessing how many you got right. Betting on yourself for how many you got right. It's kind of a throwback a little bit because they have segments where the show stops and they say, "All right, this is brought to you by Pepsi." And like old school, this segment brought to you by Pepsi. Cracker Pepsi. Open that up and drink her down.
I
Cracker
do love
Pepsi.
that
You mean
Shaq
Mountain-
just does whatever.
Yeah. Mountain Dew is Cracker Pepsi, right?
Yeah, that's right. Cracker Pepsi, Mountain
you,
Dew,
Robert.
deliciousness. So it's actually, we had a lot of fun with that one. The first one, you can tell they're feeling out the concept, but by the second one, their chemistry was good and enjoyable. And then, last but not least, finished up Absolute Power. Had a lot of fun with it. I think I mentioned that last week. But I finished that. It was really good. Highly recommend. If you have the DC app, check it out. And then I moved on to Tom Strong, America's Best
yes.
Comics, written by Alan Moore, Captain Wizard Beard himself. And Tom Strong is really cool. I read about 13 issues in the last week because
Wow.
it's one of those ones where
It's fun.
So I like to read before I go to bed. And if the comic books are too good, I end up just staying up really late. And here we are. I read 13 issues in like 4 days. It kind of goes back to the old school, science heroes, magic villains, science villains. Tom Strong is an adventurer and a scientist, and his dad raised him in the first 9 years of his life in a gravity chamber, so he's super strong and durable because of that, which makes no sense because he's also like 7 feet tall, and you wouldn't be taller after living in a gravity chamber. But I digress. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Tom Strong on the DC Universe app. You have to have the Ultimate membership to access that one because it's part of their like side imprint catalog.
It was one of their acquisitions.
Yeah, it was one of their acquisitions. Or, check it out, buy it on another way. But Tom Strong's been really cool so far.
All right.
Piggybacking on that really quick, check your local comic shop. They'll have it. It's America's Best Comics, I think it was.
Yep.
Was the line that they used. Also check out the Tom Strong adjacent comics because there's like another number of other characters that kind of later on in the Tom Strong series weave through it, like Promethea and Tom Strong's daughter, I think, gets her own spin-off
Tesla.
comic. Yeah.
I will definitely check that
But
out.
if you like those, also check out Precinct Top 10.
So I actually own the 2 graphic novels of Top 10.
Oh, there's a
and-
few more than that.
Oh, is there? Excellent. Because I remember loving those when I read them. Top 10's way cool.
And if you like, sorry, the one that I was thinking of was not Top 10. It was actually Astro City by Kurt Busiek.
That's
Oh, okay.
If you like Tom Strong, I think that you'll click with Astro City, and that's been in and out of Wildstorm in DC for the past 20 years.
Okay.
So give
Astro
those a shot.
City.
all right. Robert.
Okay, so last weekend did our traditional Christmas movies of Muppet Christmas Carol and Die Hard. Was not disappointed by either.
Nice.
Finally finished after 3 weeks. Finished Arcane season 2, and I'm sorry, that is just a heartbreaking show across the board. Fantastic show, but they have some episodes that'll just tear your heartstrings out. The finale did not feel like a finale. It feels like they could have pushed for a 3rd season, but Riot's like, no, we meant this for 2 and we are done. So that's unfortunate. Lower Decks finale was just what that series needed and was fun, bittersweet to see that it's gone. So now I've got to find a new show to watch with the kids. Or I guess 2 new shows now that Arcane's gone as well. Also, I started Star Wars Prodigy. Skeleton Crew. And I was watching it, and I was calling it Star Wars Prodigy before ever seeing it. And then watching it, I'm just like, no, this is totally Star Wars Prodigy, because one of the main kids reminds me exactly of Dal from Prodigy.
Yeah.
Fern reminds me of Gwen from Prodigy. So I'm just kind of like, there are parallels here, but I'm enjoying it. Watching Jude Law kind of chew some scenery is just like, that's fun. Rebecca, I'm sorry. I enjoy seeing suburbs in my Star Wars.
No, I also like the
Rebecca
suburbs.
is-
It's Lee
No,
who
it's
doesn't.
Lee.
Oh, it's Lee.
She's
Okay,
pro
sorry.
suburbs, too.
No,
Okay.
I'm pro suburbs.
I like seeing that, parents got jobs, not just moisture farmers.
Yeah.
They're eating cereal.
They're eating cereal. You've got overworked parents who are just like, look, make sure you get to school, make sure you eat dinner.
Yeah.
I'll be back Saturday.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where we don't see this, and I'm enjoying seeing a different side of the Star Wars universe.
that's what I
that
liked
does
about
not
it.
include a Palpatine or a Skywalker.
That's what I liked about
Bingo
it.
bango.
And it's just like, this is great. It's something different, something new. I mean, this is honestly, for me, this and the Acolyte to a lesser degree are what like DS9 was for Star Trek. Something, it's like, it's a galaxy. There's got to be other people out here.
Yeah. There's
And
more
now we're
stories to
seeing it.
tell.
And I'm loving the mystery of at Atten. I don't remember no
what's
At Atten.
going on there? Huh?
What's going on there?
And it's delightful. So
Yes.
give me more of this. Looking
Save
forward to it.
Neil. Yes.
So
All right.
really quick. Really quick,
Yes.
Gary.
Comics.
So 3rd book in the Elric saga, Weird of the White Wolf. Still enjoying the saga. Haven't read it in so long that I don't remember elements of the stories. So I'm enjoying that. And fast comic run. Venom #1. There's a new Venom in town. Nobody knows who he is or she. They give you 4 possible suspects, 2 of whom you're kind of like, it could be this person. 2 of whom you're kind of like, I don't think so, but we'll see. New Gods #1. Going back to the Kirby New Gods. There is a mystery. Highfather is sending Orion to kill someone, and that's really all I can say without giving away much about the plot. And it's the Orion is having a crisis of conscience. Like, I've got an order, but I need a way out. Superwoman #1, Superwoman Special #1. We finally find out how Lois gets her powers and where her powers come from.
Where do they come from?
That you'd have to read and find out.
I will.
Will you tell me off air?
I will tell you off air.
Yay.
Question #2. Alala on the Watchtower, murder mystery in space on the Watchtower. And
What?
the Eradicator from Superman mythology shows up, and it's not good for the Justice League. G.I. Joe #2. Yes, this is the Baroness with Duke. Yes, there's still some conflict on the team. This is not your 1982 G.I. Joe, but it kind of is. And watching that, feeling out that dichotomy is very fun. Absolute Batman #3. Absolute Batman is being absolutely Batman.
It's one of DC's biggest selling comics of the year.
And the thing is, it shows you that even without all the money and all the gadgets, Bruce Wayne
What
will
is
find
that
a way to be
crinkling?
Batman.
Who is
Sorry.
crinkling?
Sorry.
The Moon is Following us, number 4. 4, yes. This story is a great real world meets fantasy world dichotomy. It's fun. It's touching. You find out who one of the big bads is, and you're kind of like, oh, didn't see that coming. And how are you going to deal with that? Lady Mechanica, number 4. The Devil in the Lake. Wrapping up this storyline. This was a lot more touching than I thought it was going to be, because usually these are just stories of woman who was created to kind of be a monster, being one of the most human characters in the story, and fighting other monsters, and then finding a way to, it's kind of Indiana Jones or Lara Croft-esque, just dealing with the phenomenal, and then finding ways to exist within that world. Jenny Sparks, number 5.
Got great comics going.
Yeah, I did. Jenny Sparks, number 5. We found out that basically Jenny is acting now as internal affairs for the superheroes. She's recruited by Batman and Superman to do so. She's kind of like, look, guys, they keep bumbling around trying to ask her to like keep an eye on us and take us out if we need to be taken out. But they're fumbling around. She's like, would you just, God, please spit it out?
So I've been reading that as well on the app as it launches, and it's really good. Jenny Sparks has been excellent.
And lastly, Wonder Woman 16. We get the origin. We get more about the origin of the Sovereign from Detective Chimp. And
Yeah.
Detective Chimp comes off as Columbo in this, and it is awesome.
I hope James Gunn does something with Detective Chimp.
Oh, that was the other thing. Creature Commandos. I finally caught up on that. And, I never thought I'd feel sympathy for the Weasel
I
or
know.
anything for Weasel, but
I know, right?
wow.
I was just going to bring that up because James Gunn said that after he wrote that script, he turned to his wife and he said, "I think I've just written the saddest thing I've ever written."
For
Guardians 3.
But I would disagree. Volume 3, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
I mean,
anyway.
but I expected to feel bad for Rocket Raccoon.
Yes.
I never I thought Weasel was just a character there for cheap laughs, and now all of a sudden I care about him. Thanks a lot.
Everybody has a story.
Nope,
right.
not me.
Anyway, so that was
I'll never feel bad for you, Tony.
Good.
Finished up.
You're
Speaking
gonna
of,
like Coke at Costco.
speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, I rewatched the Christmas special again last night, which I think you all should. Also, I think you should be watching the Hawkeye TV series on Disney Plus, also a Christmas show. So watch that as well. Finished up Say Nothing, Rebecca, about our
history,
people.
our ancestors.
And the British are terrible, but we're not much better. There's nobody to root for in this whole
Hurt
thing.
hurt people,
I
Carrie.
guess. Our people are too goddamn stubborn. Anyway, it's a good
I'll
show.
fight you on that.
It's a good show. And Rebecca, I finished Joker 2.
Oh my God, please tell me all of your thoughts.
I can see why people didn't like it. It doesn't work for them. It worked okay for me.
All right.
But if you were to put a gun to my head and said, you can rewatch this or rewatch Madam Web or rewatch Morbius, I'd say, oh, give me Joker 2. It's the
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Joker
not as
2,
bad
it's
as those.
not a good movie. It's not horrible. But I'm telling you, watch Joker and Joker 2, watch them back to back. And knowing the context of Joker 2 about how Harley is supposed to represent all of the people who leaned a little too hard into the first Joker.
Exactly.
I will watch it.
I think in 10, and the way it ends, oh my God, the way it ends, I was like, okay, expectations subverted.
And that's why I think people didn't like it.
Which is the point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh,
If it's
I think
not
in
better
10 I
than-
think in 10 years people are coming around on this movie.
Nah, if it's not better than Red One, then I am gonna be disappointed.
Better
because-
CGI, I'll tell you that.
And on that note, we're heading over to the after party right now. Geekshowgotthiscovered.com. Apparently, there's some food news happening. All right.
Tony and I got into a straight up argument yesterday.
Okay. More arguing with Tony and Rebecca.
That's it.
Coming up in the after party. GeekShowGotThisCovered.com is the link to our Patreon. Come and join us there. And we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, bitches.